Hey there, this is Corey with Second Phase Consulting. In this video, I will give you a demonstration of the Oracle Insbridge RateManager application. But before I do that, I want to provide a little overview of Insbridge in case you're not familiar with this product. Insbridge is an enterprise rating engine from Oracle. It is a standalone web-based rating, rules, and underwriting system for all lines of business. It allows business users to build, deploy, and manage complex rates and rules with a supremely accurate and fast rating and underwriting engine in an easy-to-use, codeless user interface. Some of the benefits of Insbridge include that it provides a centralized rating system and single rating point of truth for consistent quotes across all your various channels. It reduces the total cost of ownership by creating a single insurance rating engine and lowering resource and operational expenses. Its fast, precise rules engine allows carriers to automate underwriting decisions. It's clear visibility into insurance rating process for more effective risk management and revenue optimization. It improves risk management with multivariate pricing and rate analysis, creating more competitive products and broadening the book of business. And it can scale up to levels capable of supporting commercial insurance carriers at high volume. It can process thousands of transactions per minute and millions of transactions per hour. The Insbridge suite itself is made up of multiple products. The two primary products are RateManager and SoftRater. The RateManager component is your designer or authoring tool. It is where the user manages all the company's specific rates and rules, including underwriting rules, factors, formulas, related to the premium. It provides an impact analysis tool that will enable users to test the impact of what-if scenarios on their book of business before it launches into the production environment. And the other main component is SoftRater. That is the Runtime Engine component, which you might have multiple instances of for your various environments, such as UAT or QA, production, etc. It has the capacity to process millions of transactions per hour. It has web service interface driven by communication of data in XML format, including Accord XML. It has support for all major operating systems and databases, including Microsoft, Oracle, and IBM. It also comes with the IBFA, which is the Insbridge Framework Administrator, which is simply a tool that's provided to help you manage the SoftRater packages. All right, so this diagram here is just depicting kind of the workflow of the rate management rate management or rate creation programs and then being deployed into the various rating environments. So on your left-hand side, you have a business users or actuarial user designing or maintaining rates in the authoring environment, which is RateManager. And so they'd be creating categories and inputs and outputs and algorithms and various tables here. And then they would test their program or changes in that environment, in the RateManager environment. And then once they've validated their changes, they would create what's called a SoftRater package, shown in item number 2. And then that would be deployed. And then they would use the IBFA administrative tool to deploy that SRP package to your various rating environments that you have configured. So you can then deploy that to your various environments such as QA and UAT, and eventually you make your way to production once all the issues are resolved. All right, this slide here is depicting a SoftRater rating engine instance. Again, you'll probably have multiple instances set up for your various environments, but this is showing how your various enterprise applications can communicate with the SoftRater engine via web service. So you would send a rate or rules request via web service to the rating engine. And then the rating engine can also itself make a external call out to other services, such as a service for DMV and credit bureau. You can do some custom processing or even create user-defined functions. And that response would come back to the SoftRater engine, and then the rating logic would pick back up where it left off using any of that external callout data to continue processing the rates, doing the rate calculation and rule enforcement, and then return the final results back to the calling applications. There's also another service that's available. It's called Soft Data Service, and it's a web service. It allows you to call the tables specifically that were set up in your various rating programs. So that might be useful if you wanted to pull back multiple rows of data, maybe to get to use that data to populate drop downs on your user interfaces that are calling the application. All right, with that, let's go ahead and show you the Insbridge RateManager product demonstration. Okay, so now I'm logged into RateManager, and first of all, you can see this is a browser application. So I basically only needed Internet Explorer on my machine. I did not need to install any special software, as will be the same for every user of RateManager. So the first screen we come to is the Home tab, and right now I have it showing the control panel and some widgets that basically show my most recently open programs and algorithms and variables. In the control panel, we have the different modules that are available to the user. Program Explorer is the main one that has all our programs. You have a testing module to be able to test against your programs in different environments. And you have the Impact Analysis module, which is a tool that shows the effect of potential rate changes on your entire book of business to see if those changes will have the desired effect that you would expect. All right, so let's just go ahead and go into the Program Explorer. Okay, now that I'm in the Program Explorer, you can see there's a hierarchy tree on the left-hand side. This is what you navigate to get to your programs. So they have this organized by top levels domains. I have a SPI domain. Underneath a domain, you can have one or more projects. I have a project called Product Demo. Underneath the project, you can have one or more lines of business or products. I've added one called Pet Insurance. And underneath your line of business, you can add one or more programs. And then with each program, you can have different versions. So it also supports versioning and versioning selection, automatic version selection based on any criteria, but typically you would use some sort of date or effective date to select the correct version to rate. It also supports the concepts of scope, which means like visibility of your variables amongst your different programs. So you can have local variables that are only visible to a particular program. You can set your variables into the global scope if you want them to be visible across all programs within a particular line of business, or add your variables to the universal scope if you want them visible to all programs within a project. All right, so with that said, I'm going to go ahead and step into program 2, and this screen is a program details screen, and you'll see I will be able to add some global variables or local variables. And what I want to do is I'm going to add a table variable so you can see what that looks like, and then I'll add an algorithm so you can see what that looks like. So let's do a new table variable. I'm going to add a table variable called deductible factor. And you choose your data type, integer, string, decimal, or date. Do decimal. And you can also set your default value, which means if the table, when it's at runtime, there's no match, no table row match, it will return this default value for that execution. And then you choose your working category. I'm just going to stick with policy. All right, and then I got to add the criteria, which is additional columns to the table that helps determine which row to pick. So I'll add annual deductible. So the deductible will figure out what deductible factor should be chosen. So now I'm going to import a table. You can either create tables manually or import them. And I'm going to import this one. And I will preview the data so you can see what the table looks like. And then you have to map your variables to your different columns. So it auto maps the best it can. So I'm mapping annual deductible to the deductible column. We'll choose import. It imported 4 rows. Okay. Now if you need to, you can further edit the data. You can do the edit mode and edit this data, add rows, delete rows manually if you need to. All right, so that is what I need for that one. So now I have 2 different tables that I've already got imported. Now I'm going to go create an algorithm. And an algorithm is basically where we're going to build our logic, and we're going to pull in all the other variables that we've created in our system. All right, so let's just call this test algorithm. I'm going to keep it at the policy category. And again, here's the beauty of RateManager and Insbridge is when we're adding our logic, there is no code to be written. You don't have to know any special code, Java or .NET. You don't have to be a developer. This tool was made for business users or actuarials or business analysts. So, in thinking about your, total cost of ownership, you would typically put this in the hands of your business user and not have to hire developers to maintain this. All right, so I'm going to add an if step. And what I'm going to do here is this fictitious example. I'm just going to say if the state is California, then I'm going to go to the next step, which my next step I'll do a arithmetic step. Okay, and then I'll just say I'll multiply those two variables that I set up, those tables. What I want to do is multiply them together. So I can choose my operator. So again, I'm not typing anything, I'm just multiplying. Choose my rounding options. I'm just going to say round to 0. I'm going to set this to a result variable. And that's it. So I have 2 steps in this calculation. If state is California, then go to step 2, else don't do any further calculations in this algorithm. If it's California, we're going to take deductible factor, multiply times limit factor, round to 0 places, store that value in policy premium. All right, so that's it for this algorithm. While I'm here, I want to go ahead and just quickly show you all the different step types that are available for the user. Again, this is the reason why they do not have to type any code. All they do is choose the correct step types. You have get category items, counter cross items, data type functions, date functions where you can do date differences, all kind of if steps, masking, math functions, trig functions, statistical functions, ranking, string functions where you set messages and sum across values across the different categories. All right, so pretty neat. And again, it was just placeholders. You add your step type and it's just placeholders and you pick the variables that go into the placeholders, no coding. All right, now that we have our algorithm, I'm going to go to the sequencing screen and I'm going to add this particular algorithm to the sequence, which gives us our order of operation. Save that, and I'm going to create a package. So it's going to package up all the data needed for rating, and then I'm going to be able to test. So I can test right here within the application. So it has a little testing module, and then I can enter in a deductible. So let's just do 1,000, and I'll do an annual limit 10,000 in the state of California. Also can choose, state of California. We'll rate this and you'll see a debug report. So this debug report will give us a breakdown of every single calculation that happened. And we can see on these 2 tables, it retrieved a 2.5 for one table and a 0 for another one. So I obviously entered a value that was not valid for this table. So real quick, let me go see what a valid deductible is for this table. So 500. So let's go back and fix that deductible. I'll just type 500, re-rate, and now I get a value for that. And then we'll go down to the algorithm where it pulls those different factors together. It met the condition for being California, multiplies these 2 factors together, and I get a premium of 2. And that's the output that is returned. So this is demonstrating how easy it is to actually build tables and logic in Insbridge, put it in a sequence, package it, and actually run it through the built-in test module that is available in RateManager to be able to validate your premiums.